Hi, good day. My name is Peter Jordan, and I'm back again to talk about or to carry on our discussion on feelings. And again, Chanel is back and she's looking gorgeous today. Thank you, Chanel, for coming back and working with me on these feelings. So today's thing is about feelings. We start off rather with feelings. They are a package deal. When it is that you allow yourself to feel, you don't get to pick and choose. What am I feeling? You don't say, well, my body gets these different kinds of feelings, and it is, well, I only want this feeling, or I only want that feeling. No, no, no. It's a package deal. This is what happens in your feeling. And you don't get to feel often just one feeling. It's a combination of feelings, and that's why it's a package deal. We need to understand that, as I said, we can't select them, but the feelings come. Okay, so as you start to allow yourself to feel, and this is particularly with you guys, because a lot of you guys have suppressed these feelings, and then as you allow them to surface, okay, then there's going to be times when it is you're going to be unhappy, or you're going to be upset, or you're going to feel guilty, or you're going to feel sad about some event, or shameful or something. Okay, you must allow these things to come up so that you can learn to understand them, number one, and then also give yourself a chance to work through them. Because whenever it is that you don't allow yourself to work through them, then this is the feeling that you suppress in you. Okay, when they come up and you allow yourself to work through them, then it is you can complete the kind of sort of cycles of these things, if you like. So that that this was a feeling that you suppressed, and now it comes up, and then you allow it to go through and just flow through you, and get to understand that this is what you thought at the time, and this is why you thought at the time. And we've given you lots of tools already to try and understand what are the feelings and things. But it is to allow yourself to process those feelings. Feelings come up is like a full spectrum of feelings that one has. Okay, this can be excitement. They can be unpredictable. It can mean it shows you about life, and then the more it is that you allow these feelings to flow in you, the more it is that it means that you become a living, feeling person, and this makes you alive. Okay, and that's the big thing, to allow yourself to go and feel, and go and express, and allow yourself to have this heart-to-heart connection with those around you. Because then it makes you feel alive. It makes you feel part of the greater community. And the more it is that you can accept your feelings without judgment, the easier it will be for you to experience them, and to work with them, and to learn from them. To suppress your feelings costs a huge amount of energy. To push this thing down, and to constantly push the thing out of fear that if I let these things go, then it is that I'm going to cause World War III, or I'm not going to get it out right, or I'm going to say something silly, or I'm going to whatever it is. Okay, the more you get there and you allow yourself to express the feeling, the more comfortable that you will be to express these feelings. Okay, really, really important. Okay, so getting in touch with your feelings requires that you live inside your body. and you pay attention to the sensations or the feelings that are in your body, where you get your feelings, okay? Generally, we feel from about here down. Sometimes the feeling is in the throat, sometimes the feeling's in the chest, sometimes the feeling's in the gut, okay, on the thing. You don't find that you get feelings, yeah. You don't find that you get feelings up here. You get feelings from here down, okay? This is the computer. Computers can't feel. This you need to learn to express your feelings of things, and learn to feel them. When it is that you understand your feelings, then it is you can understand what drives you to behave in certain ways, okay? These feelings can give you great pleasure. Like, for instance, you've met somebody that you really like, and you go out on a date with this person. This is the feelings that gives you great pleasure. Okay. Likewise, you can have a feeling that can give you great sadness. This is the feeling of your pet that died, or somebody that left you, or you had a breakup or something. Okay, that feeling of sadness. Those are the kind of spectrum of feelings that you've got to allow yourself to have. So if you've ignored your feelings for a long time, tuning into these sensations or these feelings may seem very strange and unfamiliar, but it's okay. Okay, it's to allow yourself to feel them, allow yourself to them. Okay, and we will get to the stage where it is that you will be able to, we'll teach you how to recognize the names of these different kinds of feelings. But it's a good idea to look at them and to allow them to become a objective feeling in you. There's something that you can sort of look at and you can feel and say, oh, okay, so I can feel this and I can feel that. Okay, and that you've allowed yourself to actually feel that. It's really, really important. What normally would happen is that in your growing up years, if you had a parent that was feelings aware as you were growing up, it is that you would be taught, so that you're feeling like this, you're feeling sad, or you're feeling excited, or you're feeling frightened, or you're feeling, whatever it is, or you feel scared. All of these things would be taught to you in your growing up years, but you guys didn't get that. Okay, and anything that was perhaps even hinted at, whatever it is, all of this was shut off, and so you guys you weren't exposed to it, to actually learn. So what we need to do is we need to start with you guys to start right at the beginning of how your feelings work, and what they are, and to how to read the feelings in your body. So the first step is for you to now start to learn to pay attention. Pay attention to your feelings. Pay attention to what it is that you are feeling in your body. And this could be a little overwhelming, or perhaps a little bit difficult to cope with. And it's really possible that as you start to open these things up now, because you've got the clairsentience in there, okay, that you can become overwhelmed with feelings very, very easily. So first of all, it is you have to learn to switch off your clairsentience. Okay, switch that off so that you can get an understanding of you and your own feelings. and then when you can get this picture about you and your own feelings, it is that you start to get to know your feelings slowly, slowly. And you get to start to understand that you and your feelings and the way that you feel in your body is unique to you. Okay, so the way that you would feel is you'd get a feeling, say, yeah, in your body. And this feeling, in the way it works with you, is unique to you. It's not the same as like maths. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, where it is that you feel in your body a certain particular feeling is the way it works for you. It's not the same for everybody else. So as you grow with these understanding of feelings, then it allows you to express yourself through such things as creativity, expressing your feelings for somebody else, expressing your understanding for somebody else, expressing gratitude for somebody else, etc., etc. All of these things is really, really important. So that the next one that I want to talk about is that in the previous video we spoke about emotions and feelings. Okay, now emotions, that's the E, the energy in motion, and the energy in motion. This is where we want to use something like anger. Okay, and we want to use this anger. Instead of being able to speak to somebody, we use the anger to as a kind of defense mechanism of the way that we can express ourselves. And we use this anger so that, in a way, it is that you don't challenge me, okay, on the thing. Or we try to redirect the attention that we are feeling, okay? And this often comes up when it is that you feel cornered or something. You feel sort of, oh, I'm in a corner. And now you need to express your feelings and you need to redirect the attention going somewhere else. So what we do is, and it's not just you guys, it's all of us, okay? That we grab this thing called the anger pony. Okay, this is the anger pony. And when it is that I mount this anger pony, yeah, now I am able to express myself. Okay, and I will say this and that and all the thing, and don't you dare challenge me in this thing. Okay, that's the anger pony. This is the energy that we need. We need this energy as a defense mechanism to put out our feelings in a way, okay? So that people won't challenge us. Now, the problem is with this anger pony, we don't get to really express what our true feelings are, because the anger and the things that we say in the anger is not really what we are feeling. And that's why it is we call it the emotion. The E, the energy. This is pure energy. Okay, it's the emotion that comes out. Now, the problem is that when you do that, people don't get to understand how you feel or what it is you are feeling or what it is that you are upset about. And so they get to learn to respond to the anger, and they don't get to learn to respond to a understanding of you and your feelings. And when they don't get to understand how to respond to you and your feelings, then you feel nobody understands me. Well, how is anybody supposed to understand you if you don't tell them how you feel? Okay. Put away my anger pony because I don't need the anger pony. I want to talk to you about feelings on things. All that makes sense to you, Chanel? Hope so.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so now this brings us to the point about your feelings and other people's feelings on the thing. Okay, so there's a couple of basic principles that we need to understand. Okay, then now when you understand these principles, then it is you don't need the anger pony. You don't need you don't need to hide away. You don't need to suppress your feelings. You don't need to, because you are a living being. You are supposed to have feelings and you are supposed to express your feelings. Because it's when you express your feelings that other people get to learn to understand how you feel about this or that. Okay, on the thing. Okay, so principle number one is it's important to realize that you have feelings and that you have feelings and that you are entitled to have these feelings and whatever they are. Okay, if it's a good feeling or a positive feeling or a negative feeling or a whatever feeling it is, that you are entitled to have this feeling, and that feeling should be acknowledged by everybody around you. Now, this is the same thing that happens between you and your children. Okay, whatever the feeling is that they are having is their feeling, and they're entitled to have that feeling. But they're not entitled to hide behind and create feelings. Okay, so if they don't want to do some or other chore at home, or they don't want to do their homework, or they don't want to do this, they say, "Oh, I'm feeling bad today." Okay, they're not allowed to hide behind and create negative feelings and things, because then it is that they're trying to manipulate with their feelings. Okay, one thing. All right, that's number one. Number two is that you must realize that you are not responsible for anybody else, them and their feelings. You are only responsible for your own feelings. Everybody around you is responsible for them and their feelings. Okay, now this one is really important because, some people say, well, he or she will make me happy, or they're supposed to make me happy. No, your partner is not there to make you feel happy. You make yourself feel happy or unhappy. You can be with the best partner in the world and you can be unhappy. It's not because of your partner, it's because of you and how you make yourself feel. The next one is that you must accept the principle that you must deal with your own feelings. So if you are feeling something, whatever it is, other people are not responsible for your feelings. And the opposite is true. You are not responsible for other people, them and their feelings. Okay, on the thing. So if you have to say something and it could possibly hurt that person, you have to say it and speak your truth. It doesn't mean that you have to be brutal about it, but it means that you can speak your truth in a compassionate way towards that person, but speak it out. Okay, on the thing. Because whatever the response is from the other people, they are responsible for them and their reaction. Remember the tissue. Okay, the tissue is that as something is triggered in you, you are responsible to sort this out in you. When somebody else has a reaction to what you are saying, they are responsible for their part. They need to sort out their part. You cannot make other people happy. You cannot try and resolve other people's emotional problems. You can only assist them to help them to resolve that for themselves. Okay? Any comments that you need along the way, they will be welcome. Yeah?
Yeah, there was a time in my life where I did think that other people makes me feel a certain way. But then I discovered that reacting to something and responding to something is two different things, and that I am responsible for my own feelings because I was always going around throwing my energy around and trying to fix everybody else's problems and feeling standing there by myself. Um, it's interesting when you get taught as a child, and then you become that. What you know consciously does come out, and it's very interesting to know and learn about feelings. Then shifting them to anger. So interesting because me and my partner is exactly that way. If we want to express a feeling, then we raise our voice, and then we get competitive and whatnot. But we don't stay angry with each other. But it's just interesting to know that. Okay, so that's why I bottle up my feelings, and then it comes out my mouth a little bit loud. So you want to suppress that feeling and pass the energy somewhere else so that you don't have to deal with it, instead of really saying how you feel it. Identify and say, hey, this is how I feel about it, so let's rather do it this way, whatever.
Exactly.
And instead of going around and trying to keep everybody happy,
Yes.
It's strange how you have compensated for a very long time.
Yes. And Chanel, it's not just you, it's all of us. The feelings intelligence in the world is at a very, very low level. We need to improve our feelings intelligence throughout the world. Okay, so the next one is, as I mentioned before, you got to accept the way that you feel in your body is unique to you, and it's not the same for anybody else. Okay, and it is you've got to learn how this feeling sensation works in you, how this body, what's the language of the feelings in the body, how it works for you on there. So, we're going to get there. Okay, the next one is that you are supposed to express your feelings. People want to know how you feel, and it's your job to express your feelings to others, okay? Not to dump your feelings, or not to make you feel better, or not to rescue, or not to get anyone to feel sorry for you or to have pity on you. Just express how you feel. And also, it's either don't deny them feelings, or don't ignore your feelings, or don't block, or don't push down, don't smother them, don't drown them. Sometimes we drown them with alcohol, okay, on a thing, or we use dope, okay, or drugs, or whatever it is on there, or we use the the socially accepted things. Well, go to the doctor, and the doctor gave me the medication. okay, or the anti-depressant stuff, okay, or sometimes it is that we smoke stuff or whatever it is. You know, all of these are just different ways for us to try and get around this thing about our feelings, okay? If society felt a lot more comfortable about expressing their feelings and understanding feelings between one another, the drug problem in this country and in the world would largely go away. Okay, so the next one is, don't assume that whenever anything goes wrong, that it is your fault. This is a favorite trick of those that have been sexually abused. Whenever something goes wrong, somehow it must be their fault that they did something or did not do something or whatever it is, that it is their fault. Okay? Or if the people around them aren't happy, then somehow it's their fault that they did not do this or arrange that or whatever it is. Okay? No, none of that is true. Whatever it is that you did wrong and you discover it is, oh, actually, this is what I did wrong, then you own up to it. You say, okay, no, I did that wrong, and this is where I screwed up, and this is what I did. But at the time, I thought it was right, but now I see, it was wrong. Okay, own up to your part on it, and don't assume that it is your fault when something else goes on wrong around you. Have a look at what are the facts. What are the cold facts about that? As soon as you have a look at what are the cold facts, you bypass this that is controlling you, okay? And this is, it's my fault. Something went wrong, it's my fault. No, it's not that. Have a look at what is actually going on as opposed to it being your fault. You must have something to say about that.
Yeah, don't be, yeah, I can see that. When it's your fault, yes, it for a long time it wasn't easy to admit that you are wrong and to say sorry for some reason, because with the upbringing you had, you thought that you were kind of controlled and you said how you feel or something. You were controlled in a way so that you and manipulated, so you never formed your own opinion about things. So yes, that is very important, because now I can say, hey, that I was wrong and so and so and so and so. But for some reason, it wasn't very easy for a long time, and I also had to learn just to say and own up to I am sorry. Why isn't it so easy? But it's important. Yes, it should.
How it overrides you, okay? One thing, it overrides you because it is, well, you know, there's perhaps guilt or something or shame attached to it, or that it's your fault, or that you didn't.
Yeah. Yes, you have to take responsibility to know. And then that also sets other people at ease to know, okay, she owned it up, she is sorry, let's move on. Instead of making it a huge thing.
Okay, so that brings us to the next point. The next point is realize that other people's feelings are not more important than your feelings. Other people's feelings are not more important than your feelings. My feelings are as important as your feelings. And so if I have a disagreement with you about something, and you feel like this and I feel like that, kind of thing, okay? And there's this big difference. Then it is, I have to learn to understand, well, what are your feelings? And you've got to learn to understand what are my feelings. And in this discussion, we move from these places, these are different places here, to somewhere in the middle where we can meet each other. Okay, and then in meeting each other and understanding that this is you and your feelings, this is me and my feelings. So what can we do to solve the problem, taking into account you and your feelings, and taking into account me and my feelings? And when we can do that, then it is we can leave the situation feeling that I have been heard. Okay, and that you have been heard, and that I am important, and that you are important. And when we can do that, then it is we can solve most problems. It may happen from time to time that we cannot agree, but then it is we can agree to not to disagree on perhaps this point or that point, but the other points we can agree on. So this point is we can leave it out and say, okay, we can disagree about this, but the rest of the things we can agree on. Okay, but then at least you know what is the point that you disagree on, rather than one taking one stance this way and the other stance that way. Okay, I think that's what happens in dialogue. That's why negotiation, it's not so much a negotiation to try and win or control somebody, is to try and find the middle ground between you and somebody else. Okay, other things. And the reason that all this is important, because when we were all created exactly equal to one another. And therefore it is that your feelings cannot be more important than mine. They are as important as mine. The next one is guilt and shame. There is no need for guilt or shame. Okay, this is a common feeling amongst survivors. Shame means that there is something wrong with me. So let's just kill that one straight away. When you were created perfectly. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. With you as a person, there is nothing wrong with you. Okay, it is that you could feel shameful about an event of some sort, yes, but then it is when you went through that event, was it something that you willingly did or not do? And if you did it and you weren't willing to be there, then how can you be shameful about it? It's not that you did something wrong. It is that something wrong was done to you or with you. Okay? Likewise, if it was just a event about some behavior that you did and you behaved in a bad way, then it is, you can go back and look at it and say, well, now with the knowledge that I have now, if I went back to that kind of situation, would I behave like that again? And the answer would be no. So then it is you go back and you have a look at that situation where it is that you felt shameful about. That's what you did with the knowledge that you had at the time. If you had different knowledge or different understanding, you would not have done it. So that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That just means that there is some kind of shameful behavior that you did because you didn't know any better. So that's shame. Okay. Can we bed that one down?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. The next one is guilt. And the guilt is that you have now done something wrong. Okay. Both of these can either can get you into all sorts of kinds of trouble situations, okay, where you feel guilty. The guilt side of things, where it is that you have done something wrong. Again, it is that, you know, if you did this thing and it was wrong, why did you do it that it was wrong? If you knew that you were doing what was wrong, well, then there are consequences to your actions. if you did something that you didn't know was wrong, and you did something at the time that you thought was the right thing, then it was the right thing at the time because you didn't know other bits of information. When it is you know the other bits of information, would you have done the same thing as you did at that point in time? And the answer would be obviously no. Okay, one thing. So it's very important to understand, and this is particularly important for sexual abuse survivors, is that these two things become interchangeable often. Okay, but it is to become very clear about what is it, and then did you actually do something wrong? Okay, so just to reiterate, shame means that there is something wrong with you. Okay, it's not. Guilt is that I have done something wrong. Well, you might have done it, or you might not have done it. Have a look at what the facts are. If you did do something that was wrong, then just admit it. This is what I did wrong, and this is why I did it at the time, because this is what I knew at the time. And if I had to go back to that time, I would have made the same decision based on the facts that I knew at that time. Okay, if I knew that what I was doing is wrong, well, then it's wrong, and then I have to admit that was wrong, and now, I must go through the consequences of that thing. Okay, the next one is that clear for you, Chanel?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great stuff. Okay, so the next one is about the 7 reasons why it is that you cannot make other people happy. And the first reason is some people just do not want to be happy. It's simple. They just do not want to be happy. They want to sit in their little pity party, and they want to stay there and be there and spite the whole world about me being unhappy. What can you do about that? Nothing. Okay? One thing. You can do absolutely nothing about what a person, how they want to be. If they don't want to be happy, then they simply don't want to be happy. And you have to leave them because you are not responsible for them and their feelings. They are. Okay? And they often use it as a mechanism against you to try and control you or try and whatever. Okay? And they try and make it that it is that you have to make me happy. Okay? You can't do that. All right? I see you shaking your heads.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know why as a child you think you are responsible in some way and that you have spent so many years trying to do that, and now that you're an adult you realize that you're actually not responsible, and you feel even guilty because you can't make that person happy as well. It's unfair, but it's just so relieving to know you can't do it.
Yeah,
they have to do it.
And you have to accept that, okay? But you see, what lies behind that is that you've got to accept the principle that every person on the planet is responsible for themselves. Okay?
Yes.
And they can make themselves unhappy or they can make themselves happy. And if they want to be unhappy, well, then you leave them to be unhappy in your little pity party and say, well, when you decide to come out of your pity party and join the rest of us and be happy, well, then join us. If you don't want to and you want to stay there, then stay there and make yourself more and more unhappy, and then see if that makes you happy. Okay? Another thing. So that now covers the other part. The other part is that you can't make some people happy. Okay? Another thing. So the next one is that people will use their happiness to manipulate you. You have done this and you make me unhappy. You did not do this and you've now made me unhappy. You should have done this and you did not and you now make me unhappy. Okay, this goes back to the part about how it is that taking on the burden of trying to make somebody else happy is that you simply cannot. You cannot rescue people into happiness.
It's just a shock to realize how manipulated you grow up. It's I shouldn't say these things. She might be listening. Oh, yo, okay, yo, sorry. Yo, it's just yo.
Okay,
God.
yes. So I wrote this. I said, some people don't want to be happy at all. Others just want you to make them happy. These people are happy in general, but not around you. Simply put, they don't like you. So get over it. Okay? Don't chase them, and don't chase their happiness. If they get a huge smile on their faces and light up around other people, but frown and clench down around you, okay, make your peace with it. You cannot make everyone to like you. Okay, so now when you get that, it frees you up from so much around you. Okay, the key is not to obsess about the one or two people in the world who will never like you, no matter what it is that you do, but to focus on the other 7 billion people on the planet. Have you any idea how many 7 billion is? It's a huge number. It's a huge freaking number, okay? Don't worry about these 1 or 2 or 3 people that you can't make happy. Leave them be, okay? There's lots of other people that want to engage with you and be your friend and like you and love you and etc., etc. You don't have to make these people. And sometimes these people are in our families or close relatives or whatever it is. If they want to be like that, leave them be. Go and join somebody else. Okay? There are lots of people around the world that want you as a friend, that would love you as a friend, or love you as a partner, or love you as a whatever it is. Doesn't matter. Don't close yourself off by chasing people who will never be happy around you. Instead, open yourself up to the new and better relationships that are available all around you. Okay, so the next one is, people will use their happiness to manipulate you. Have you ever sensed that someone really wanted you to like them, and as soon as you sensed it, part of you wanted to resist liking them back? Don't lie. It's okay. This is normal. When someone comes on too strong, our brains tell us to put up a guard, and we ask ourselves, why are they trying so hard? What is it that they want from me? Showing a little resistance is our way of protecting ourselves. And again, it's natural. What's unnatural, however, is when someone senses that you really want them to like you and they use it against you. Instead of putting up their guard, and they string you along and they see your desire to make them happy And they leverage this and they manipulate you to get something out of you. Therefore, seeking approval from someone else is always a mistake. Very often, the person you're chasing is keeping their happiness one step ahead of you on purpose. This is the manipulation that they're doing. Okay? So, how must you be in the world? You just have to be yourself, be who you are. And you like and accept me for who I am, or you don't. And if you don't, well, that's okay. There are lots of other people that are around that will like and accept me for who I am. I'm not responsible for you and your happiness. I'm not responsible for you and your feelings. I'm not responsible for anything. Okay, one thing. The games that we as people play, okay? But it is when you become feelings aware on the inside of you, then it is that you start to understand what is going on around you. And when you understand the basic rules, it is that you're not responsible for anybody else and them and their feelings, and your feelings are as important as anybody else's, then it frees you up. You can just be who you are. Okay, another thing. So the next one is that you make other people weak by being a crutch for them. Okay, by you always having to support them. You're always having to make it better for them. You're always having to do something for them. Sometimes supporting someone is the worst thing that you can do for them. The longer you hold them up, the weaker their legs become. On a long enough timeline, their legs will stop working altogether. Almost like astronauts coming back from space. They won't be able to stand up, and they won't be able to stand up for themselves. Okay? And somehow then it's going to end up being your fault. Tough love is tough. Not because it hurts the person on the receiving end, but because it hurts the person who is giving tough love. So this kind of instance would bring something to mind. I'm working with a teenager who does not want to do anything in school. That is really, really a bright kid and doesn't want to do anything for themselves. And they're making their happiness dependent on everybody around them. And so we agreed with me and the family, it is to say, tough love. If you don't want to do the schoolwork and you don't want to do this, well then, you must suffer the consequences. And it's hard on the parents. And it's hard on everybody else. But you have to allow this kid to go through this situation, because we've tried every trick in the book to try and get them to there. And they are just manipulating and conniving and everything else. And so you let them go through it. And then they learn the consequences of the actions. But it's the hardest on everybody around them. On that person, they don't see it as tough. Okay? Tough love is really, it's tough. It's tough on this one, but it's also that you allow the other person to go through the consequences of their actions. Some people will say is that, this is it. You don't understand me. She needs me. or he needs me, they'll cry. Okay? What a bunch of bloody nonsense this is. People like this spend their lives pretending, and they'd rather pretend that someone else needs them than to do the right thing, the tough love thing. If you're holding somebody up, stop it right now. Understand that support is supposed to be temporary. Sooner or later, you need to drop who you're supporting and let them swim or sink. And it's tough, but it's necessary. Okay, for all of us. Yeah. Happiness, the next one, can only be experienced firsthand. So no matter how incredible a moment is, you can't force someone to experience its incredibleness. Only you can experience this incredibleness. No matter how happy you are, you can't give somebody your happiness. And the same as no matter how somebody else is happy, they can't give you their happiness. The only person that can create this happiness is you. Okay? Happiness can't be experienced secondhand. It's not smoke. It's not incense. And you can't infuse them into it. Happiness is a part of your health. And like the rest of your health, it can't be shared. Sure, you can lead by example and hope that others learn to live a healthy life, but it is that you can't make them be healthy. They can only be healthy themselves by what it is that they choose to do with their bodies, what they choose to feed their bodies, what they choose to, whatever it is. Okay, one thing. It's a personal choice. You can, of course, strap them down and force feed them healthy food, and then force feed their muscles to engage in exercise, and then force them to only think positive thoughts. Okay? But of course, you can't do that. Okay? And then you must give people the space to figure out how to be happy on their own. And of course, you can teach them and everything else, but it is each person can only be happy through their own internal work or their own internal thoughts. And they need to learn to be happy without you. They need to learn to create their own happiness from within themselves. Interesting thoughts, right? I can see the wheels are turning. Lovely. Okay. The next one is living for someone else is selfish. Okay, so living for someone else is selfish. When it is that you give someone who is constantly feeling sorry for themselves attention, you are training them to feel sorry for themselves. You're also training them to need you. This is vain and selfish. Too many people get their sense of self from helping others who don't need their help. These people have no idea who they are, but they know that other people need them. At least that's what they tell themselves. Don't fool yourself. Others need you far less than you think they do. Your colleagues, your friends, and family members don't need you to constantly tell them what to do. They don't need your handouts. Instead, they need you to back off. They need space. They need you to let them make their own mistakes or fail trying. so that they can learn from their mistakes. And this takes us back to the tough love, okay? Give them space to go through this. This might sound harsh, but the best thing that you can do for other people is encourage self-reliance. Think of how you learned to ride a bike. Maybe you had training wheels at first, and then maybe your dad or your mom ran beside you and pushed you along. Did they ever let you go? And the answer must be yes. I said, of course. Did you crash a couple of times? Oh, yes, you bet. Okay. But did you learn? Yes. Okay. Mother birds throw their babies out of the nest long before the babies are ready. Sometimes the baby birds are thrown out from hundreds of feet above the ground. The mother birds do this because they know it's the only way the baby birds will learn to fly and survive in the wild. Okay, so when you get chucked out, then it is sink or swim, or fly, or dive down into the ground. The choice is up to you. The world is a tough place to live in. I get that, okay? But it is, we all came here to learn for ourselves and to grow and to develop ourselves. When we dump that or shirk that responsibility to those around us, we're not doing ourselves any kind of favor. The only thing that you're doing is being selfish. Stop being a martyr. Stop sacrificing yourself. It's better to lead by example than through sacrifice. Focus on making your life an example of what other people can achieve. Learn to be happy on your own without other people depending on you. Big one to learn. Okay, so the last one is that you will never reach your own full potential. So your life is a limited resource. If you are spending all your time and energy trying to make other people happy around you, you will have nothing left over for your own life. The only way for you to reach your full potential is for you to focus on the more incredible your life is. The more other people will want to replicate it. Okay, let me try that again. The only way to reach your full potential is to focus on making yourself as happy as possible. Focus on making your life incredible. The happier you are and the more incredible your life is, the more other people around you will want to replicate it. Your joy will plant a seed in their heads, a seed that they can nurture and grow on their own. By setting an example of what's possible, you inspire others to create their own happy life. Contrary to popular belief, the most unselfish thing that you can do is live for yourself. Taking on the burden of another person's joy is not only selfish, it's unproductive. In fact, it is impossible. The only way to grow happiness is to plant seeds. The best way to inspire others to reach their full potential is to strive and to reach your own full potential. Live a happy life and a full life, and you will lead the way for others to lead a happy and full life. In other words, be yourself. Be who you are. Understand that this is me, that is you. Okay? And I'm not responsible for you and your happiness, and I'm not responsible for you and your feelings, and I'm not responsible for anything. I am responsible for me. So in this process, I am responsible for me. Yes, these things happen to me when they happen to me. But it is now I can let them go. I can change this and I can be myself. And the more that I grow and I be myself, the more it is I can be loving towards me in a process called self-love. Okay? The more that you love yourself, the more it is then that you will be able to unconditionally love those around you. When it is that you don't love yourself, then it is that you will then do one of these things that we spoke about, because it is you trying to get something from somebody. Okay? And then as soon as you try to give something from somebody, then it is you losing power, you losing everything else. And losing power is not loving you. Losing power is not looking after you. Being a rescuer of somebody is disempowering them. Okay, so this is where it is that you don't rescue people, you ask people, how can I help you to help yourself? Now, the difference is how can I help you to help yourself? It is that they then have to take responsibility for them and their lives, them and their happiness, them and their everything else. Okay, and then you can help them, but you don't help them in a way that disempowers them. You help them in a way that empowers them, making sure that they always do more than what it is that you put in. So if you put in 30% effort, they must put in 70% effort. That is helping them to help themselves. That is love. Which brings me to the question then. So what is love? How does love actually work? What is love between two people? How does it work? How does it work in terms of love between me and my partner? How does it love between me and my children? How does it love work between me and my parents? How does it love work between me and my brother or sister, or me and my cousin, or me and my whatever it is, me and my friends? How does all of this love work? Recognizing us and our feelings. Interesting question. And that is going to be the subject of our next video. How does that love work? In the light of everything that we've discussed so far. Okay, it's a important subject to discuss. Are we going to get it right? No. Are we going to have a nice discussion around it? Oh, yes. Is there lots to learn from that? Oh, yes. Okay, and then we start to look at, well, what is love in our romantic love? And what is love in raising our children? And what is love for our grandparents? All that. They're all different. And our love for our pets is different. And our love for our home is different. And a love for our hobbies is different. And our love for our creativity is different. You see, love has many different aspects to it. Can we cover it all? No. Is it interesting to talk about and to learn about? Oh, yeah. So, Chanel, you've listened to all of this, and I've seen the wheels turning, and I've seen the things. So what interesting things have you got to tell us?
I'm excited to learn about feelings and love, and to be able to recognize feelings, starting with myself and loving myself, understanding who I am, and becoming a better me, and being that to the whole world around me, in my own world. I think the best thing to do is to become, for things around you to be how you would want it to be, is to start with yourself. If you grow in yourself, understand yourself, and be yourself, and can express and recognize what the tissue is, what the issue is, and where the feeling comes from, and putting boundaries now, letting people to know what you're feeling, what you're thinking, so people, your relationships and everything can fall into place, and you can be the best you and the example for your kids, and have balanced relationship with everybody around you. But coming aware of all these things is really unfolding your whole life, and what you have been taught and what is the reality of how it should be. And now that you're aware of this, you can turn things around for everyone, not just yourself, but everybody around you. And being a parent is the hardest thing to do. But if you don't know, you don't know. But if you do know, then you have the tools. Be empowered and to use that to raise your children in the way possible way. I'm so excited to learn about this and to know that, hey, I'm on the right track here, man. I can have the best relationships if I really want to do this and put time into it, put effort into it, and understand, to come in such a better understanding and a deeper understanding of what you're trying to teach and what you're trying to get across here. And yeah, I wish I can just absorb it all and be it all and just yes, and just take it off. But it's not that easy. Do it myself. I have to learn to do things for myself and not everybody around me, because I'm first and then the rest. And I get that. Sure, so many things crossed my mind today.
It would be really helpful for not only you, but other people watching this video to watch it again and again, because there is tons of information that is in this thing. And that, once you get it and you understand each of the points, it gives you so much insight into you and your own feelings and the feelings around of others around. And of course, you combine this one with last session's one, Yeah. So the next one, of course, as you see, we'll talk about love, and then there's a couple more that come off that. All just about feelings. I bet you had no idea that you thought that feelings could be so involved and to talk about them.
Yes, it is.
All right, Chanel.
It's a vulnerable road to adulthood. It really is.
Yeah. Can you imagine if you were taught all of these things in your growing up years? Wow. Where would you be as a person, and where would society be? And what kind of relationships would we have? And where would the drug problem be today?
The world would be a better place, most definitely. I think this should be a project in school, like life orientation. Most definitely. Because if I had this, I would be a different person and much further in life. And to use these tools I can see everything, the way you explain things. I can see it in myself, in my kids, my childhood, growing up. If I knew all of this, I would have been much further in life. And imagine changing somebody being hooked on drugs because they're scared of their own feelings. They're scared. And they're so scared that they need to numb in such a big way. Oh my gosh, this is really, yeah.
Chanel, I'd like to thank you for yet again taking time out and to be with us, and for us to be able to record this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. Bye.